like a Hellcat.
Hello and welcome back to the channel where once again it's time for another Sega Master System review. Now if you tuned into my last Master System review, you'll have seen that I reviewed the brilliant version of Streets of Rage that the Master System got. In my opinion, one of the very best games the console ever got. But that was then, this is now. Of course, we're taking a look at the sequel, Streets of Rage 2 today. And could it do what the Mega Drive version did and pretty much surpass the original in every way and give the consumer another fantastic side-scrolling beat-em-up experience? So, watching the fantastic introduction to this game, you will see that Mr. X is back. He has kidnapped Adam in a bid to get revenge against Adam, Axel, and Blaze for what happened in the original game. But of course, Axel and Blaze, along with Adam's younger brother Skate, are out to put a stop to his plans, free Adam, and get rid of Mr. X once and for all. Without a doubt, this intro gets you pumped, it gets you excited, ready to hit the streets of rage once again because you are convinced that you're going to be getting more of the same, some fantastic beat-em-up action on your Master System. But I'm not going to lie, all is not what it seems with this game. So on the main menu, you'll see you've got Game Start and Options. Heading into Options, you can select the difficulty, you can change the amount of lives you start with, and on this game, you can also listen to all of the BGM tracks and all of the sound effects within the game. Now, you can also access a cheat menu where you can turn on invincibility and select which level you want to start at if you put in a code. So once you hit the character selection screen, you'll see you've got Axel, Blaze, and Skate. They've all got more individualized ratings on this game to give them a little bit more of a difference. Once you've selected your character, you will hit stage 1 and be met with the fact that this game looks nowhere near as good as the original Streets of Rage. I'm not sure what happened in the development with this game. It came out 11 months after the original, but in every single way, this game looks worse. The character models are slightly smaller, they are less detailed, they have got less frames of animation, the enemies very similar as well, smaller, less detailed, don't move as well. I was truly disappointed when I played this game for the first time because I couldn't believe how much worse it looks and runs than the original Streets of Rage. I just find it inexcusable because they had a tremendous basis with the first game. All they had to do was add the new stages, modify the characters slightly, swap out Adam for Skate, and you had a great game there. But what they've done is just completely destroy it visually. I still can't get over it now, and it came out 30 years ago. How can this game look so much worse? The animations for all the moves as well, they just don't look anywhere near as good as the original game. It is so disappointing to look at this game now, you know, even all these years later, because I honestly would have thought it would have looked probably the same as the original, just with modified levels, new bosses, that kind of stuff. But instead, it's just a massive downgrade. It's almost like it's the Game Gear version just pushed out to a full screen mode or something. It's just not good at all, and it is such a disappointing experience. Now, that doesn't mean it's the worst looking Master System game ever, because there are far worse looking games on the Master System, but because the original set the bar so high, you cannot help but feel truly let down with Streets of Rage 2 in the looks department. So moving on to the sound effects and music, and without a doubt this is the best part of the game. You've got some really decent tracks again here. I don't think they're quite up to the standard of the original Streets of Rage, but they are more decent music. Unfortunately, with the sound effects, I just feel they're lacking. There's only 26 sound effects in the whole entire game, which means some of your moves don't have a sound effect. Like, for example, when you pull off your special move, there is no sound effect for this, and it's really, really disappointing. I don't really think there's any real excuse or reason for it. It's just really disappointing. So whilst the music's reasonably good, the sound effects aren't. But what I will do is give you a few examples of the music so you can have a listen to it for yourselves. So if you've watched my reviews in the past, you'll know that sometimes I say for as bad as a game looks and sometimes as bad as it may sound, if it plays well and is enjoyable, it can be saved because it can still be fun. Unfortunately, Streets of Rage 2 plays nowhere near as well as the original Streets of Rage on the Master System, and it is so disappointing. Yes, you've got an attack button and a jump button. Pressing them together will do your other attacks like your back attack and your special attack. And there are more attacks in this game than the original, but unfortunately, because they're animated worse, because your character just moves nowhere near as well as the original game, it's not enjoyable to play in my opinion. Another thing, and without a doubt the biggest problem with this game, is the way that the enemies can attack you over and over again. What do I mean, you ask? Well, when you're knocked down, when you stand back up, you can get knocked straight back down, and this will happen time and time again, especially if you're trapped with one enemy on one side and one on the other of you. It's very, very frustrating. Now, you can't do this to the CPU. If you knock the CPU down and then stand by them, just trying to attack them as they get back up, you can't hurt them and they will automatically just kick you or punch you. And it's infuriating, it's frustrating, it makes the game so irritating to play in my opinion. It is such a downgrade from the first in the terms of the way it plays. It's just unbelievable. It really, really is disappointing. That doesn't mean it's the worst playing game on the system or anything like it, because it's far better than a lot of other games on the Master System. The problem is the original game set such a high standard that Streets of Rage 2 just fails to get anywhere near it in terms of the way that it plays. So moving on to content and lifespan, what we've got here is the three characters I mentioned, Axel, Blaze and Skate. We don't have Max, who was in the Mega Drive version. We've got 6 stages to play through in comparison to the 8 on the Mega Drive. Now the stages are broken down into little subsections before you face the boss. Overall, it'll probably take around 40 to 45 minutes to play through, if you can actually play through it. Now, you may have noticed my life bar hasn't gone down on part of the video, and that's because I had to turn on the invincibility cheat to finish the playthrough of the game for the video. It's that frustratingly difficult and tacky in the way that you die over and over again. It really is frustrating. Now, it doesn't have a 2-player mode, obviously, as well. I think that could have been a good compromise, really, for such inferior graphics to the original game. If it had had a 2-player mode, it would have been a redeeming feature, but it doesn't. So unfortunately, the lifespan factor isn't that great for Streets of Rage 2, basically because it's not anywhere near as enjoyable to play as the original game. So content and lifespan, not strong. So like always, that leaves us with our 2 final questions. Is Streets of Rage 2 on the Master System still worth a playthrough in this day and age? And where does it come in our Master System top 10? Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't think Streets of Rage 2 on the Master System is worth a playthrough at all, basically because it's just so inferior to the first game and it's not enjoyable to play. I wouldn't recommend you go out and play it. Definitely not buy it because it's one of the most expensive games on the console. This game will cost you an arm and a leg if you want a boxed copy with a manual. Now, where does it come in our Master System top 10? We've only got 4 games in there so far. Number 1, Streets of Rage. Number 2, The Ninja. Number 3, Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Number 4, Transbot. And I'm going to be harsh probably here. Maybe a lot of people aren't going to agree, but this is the worst game out of all the games I've reviewed so far. Even Transbot, which is actually a decent game, is better in my eyes than Streets of Rage 2. So Streets of Rage 2 comes in at number 5 on the list. Of course, these are my thoughts and my thoughts alone. I always say that. And I always love to hear what other people have to say about the games that I review. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. That is it for today. Thank you for watching. And like always, I will be back in the near future with another review. Goodbye for now.